So, because this is my YouTube channel, personally, my views, I believe, are the most special views any man can actually have about life. And people usually gun down people's decisions and, life. But I was such kind of guy. I used to judge people. Nowadays, I have a problem judging people because I see them as a person who chose that life. I honestly believe that people are responsible for the lives that they live. As long as you're a kid, as long as you're not a kid, rather, as long as you're not a kid, like fucking infant or a child who's dependent on their mother or father, okay, a young boy can still think and they can still pull themselves out of the little rut they are in, that problem, that shitty place they are in. Because if they believe and they work hard, they can, because nothing is impossible. But we all have infinite versions of ourselves in this reality we're living in this real world we're living in. Because personally, this shit is not real. This fucking phone isn't real. This is just expired milk. The only reason why it's real to me, it's because I'm holding it. But to me, it isn't in my own version. I hope you guys understand what I'm saying. But you see, how can I call it? Cheesy. But let me just tell you this. If there are infinite versions of you in this reality, it means you have the ability to become anything and be anything that you want to be. There's a version of you as a woman. You can either become a hoe, or you can either become a president. You can either become a CEO. You can become a radio presenter. You can become a football player. You can become a wrestler. You can become a boxer. You can become a tennis player. You can become a maid. You can become anything that you want to be. And the only reason that you can become that is you deciding and choosing to be that. What does that mean? That means that you've been given free will by God to be whatever you want to be. Everything that you want to be is already finished creation. It's already finished. You cannot claim that I'm creating this. It was already created. It was already created. All you have to do is just be it. I'll give a good example. If you people watch wrestling, I'm a big wrestling fan. I watch wrestling, WWE, every single day, acknowledge me. But if you're a fan of wrestling, you'll always notice the new guy when he comes into the industry. When he says I am the best, or I am the best wrestler, of course the crowd will be like, what the fuck, is this guy crazy? The crowd will be quiet or booing, but at least they're getting a reaction. That is the same thing as life. If you want to be a wrestler, just be it. Just carry yourself as a fucking wrestler, and you never know what will happen. Because one, the most important thing is this: God is watching, and God will give you the people and the opportunities and the life that will lead you to that hole, to that hole and that perspective of your true reality. So even when someone says they are gay nowadays, I used to judge them. I used to, I literally used to. But now I'm like, they chose that. They literally chose the idea of sucking dick of another man, or being a lesbian, or becoming that. So why the fuck should I even talk to them and tell them to change? The only reason why they can change is themselves. It's not me. The much I can do maybe is talk to them. The much people can do is maybe talk to another person about changing, but change can never happen without someone going inside and saying, I am new and I'm not identifying with this version that is fucking crooked, or the version of you that has lived in your body for quite some time. Because there's some people who have lived with a version of themselves, with an identity for like 30 years, and it is usually very hard for them to, shift it. But this idea, that's why I usually have a problem judging people. Because what will I say? Yeah, he's gay. Okay, yeah, she's a hoe. But also she can become a president if she wants to. The much I can do is talk to her. The much I can do is maybe give her a perspective of life if she wants to change. So it's not me who's going to change her, it's herself. It's you. There's no one else. And obviously, through the power of God, of course, I believe in God. You can only change through God's mercy and power, but The true power resides within you, you know? So I don't believe this notion of saying, fucking, what's this shit? You have to judge people of who they are. I mean, you can, but it's not you who chose that life. It's them, and if they want to change, it's only them who will change. If it's only them who they want to change for, you know. So, if you want to be whatever you want to be, if you want to be a rapper, a scriptwriter, an actor, a musician, or whatever, you just be it, man. Who the fuck cares? You know, who gives a fuck? Who gives a fuck even what I say? You should not give a fuck what I say, who you are. If you know who you are deep inside, you should not give a bloody damn what your mom says, what your dad says, what your sister says, what your brother says, what your fucking girlfriend says, what your boyfriend says, what your husband says, what even your fucking godfather too. Like, you know who you are, and if you want to go and be it, just be it. That version of you is already created. There's nothing you should do. The only thing you should do maybe is just be it. If you are a millionaire, become a millionaire. How do you become a millionaire? Act like a millionaire. There's certain behaviors millionaires do not have, such as being loud. I mean, there's some millionaires who are loud, but they usually get that money very fast, and that money usually goes fast. But a true millionaire, they're usually not really loud. They're not, how can I call it? They don't have the scarcity mindset. They are limitless, you know. So whoever you might be, listening to me, there are infinite versions of you, and you can become anything that you want. Anything, literally anything. And the only person who can judge you is the person who created those versions of you. And who is that? Who is that? That is the supreme being. That is God, the spirit. So, as much as people might judge you, fine, but that's my honest opinion about life. And yeah, in terms of being whatever you want to be, that's how I view life. So, ciao ciao.